Evil Eye Kashtira likely isn't something that very many people expected to really work, given the new support, and I decided to pick it up. In theory, the two decks sort of work together, so I wanted to at least test it, and I was very impressed. I really like this deck. So the initial thinking was that essentially we were going to take advantage of the fact that the Kashtira engine really doesn't need to normal summon at all. In fact, all of its summoning is special summoning, and its restrictions relate specifically to the usage of the extra deck, locking you into Exceed monsters. Now, basically, if you're looking for a deck to complement that, you're looking for something that either A, doesn't mind getting locked into Exceeds, or doesn't use its extra deck at all, something that isn't overly reliant, or something that can be reliant, upon its normal summon, since Kashtira doesn't use it. And one of the first decks to spring to mind was definitely Evil Eye. So this is the deck I built. I was testing around. I really like this build. And essentially what the idea is, your Kashtira combo and everything, you can set all of that up going first, and none of that impedes in any way your Surzeal, Watcher of the Evil Eye, which is able to basically set up your entire combo when it comes to Evil Eye. Evil Eye also in the past struggled with setting up additional interruptions and setting up a few bodies on board, or pressing additional bodies on board for lethal damage in a turn 2 situation. So having the additional support is extremely helpful, and having Triple Tactics Frust as well to help you search not only for your interruption cards like your your Triple Tactics Talent, it can also search for the likes of your Evil Eyes Unleashed or your Kashtira Theosis in a pinch where you need an extender for either half of your deck. So I'm not going to talk too much about it right now. At the end of the video though, I will be going through the deck card for card of breaking it down, so if you're interested in that, stick around. But I would advise you stick around and watch the gameplay as well. We've got a few replays lined up that shows off some of the basics of how the deck works, and some of the interactions and such. But yeah, honestly, super cool deck. Really happy with how this turned out. I'm definitely going to be playing this more because it just fits so seamlessly, and it's another excuse to use the Evil Eye cards, right? Which were already decent, but now I believe the Kashtira version is going to make this significantly better. I really do. So anyways, if you're new to the channel, absolutely subscribe to catch more content as it's coming out. We try to get videos out every single day, so stick around if you want to catch as many videos as we can get up. And of course, like the video if you enjoy what you're watching, or if you enjoy Evil Eye, or any of the Kashtira things that we've been covering over the last number of days. I do plan on doing a few more Kashtira remixes and things for the likes of Sword Souls. So there is going to be more Kashtira stuff going up, but we will be breaking it up with other forms of content as well. But either way, I'm not going to take out too much of your time here at the beginning of this video. Let's get into the gameplay. Alright, getting into game number 1, here we are going second in this situation, and we have a pretty solid hand. We're playing against Tliament's Kashtira, going to mill a bunch of cards out from the deck, going for Kashtira Birth here, going to revive back the Rise Heart from the graveyard, going into Time Thief Redoer. Redoer then going to activate its effect. They're going to attempt to send the Siren to the graveyard to trigger off its fusion effect, but that's a decent opportunity to go for an Ash Blossom, but there is Called by the Grave. We're going to double down though, stopping that Time Thief Redoer with Infinite Impermanence, with only one card remaining in hand. I'm fairly confident in sort of believing he doesn't have any way to play through this, the second interruption, so I'm pretty confident in dropping my Imperm right there. I gotta negate the Reader, and that's totally fine. Passes turn back to us. We're gonna go draw phase, drawing into Surzeal. Not the greatest draw in the world since we already have one, but that's fine. He grabs a Basilius from our deck. We're gonna go for Pressured Planet Raphasloth, or whatever its name is. We're gonna grab the Unicorn. That is our one card combo for Kashtira. He's gonna trigger off the Readers, activating the Siren Engrave, summoning out the Tliament's Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos then going to activate its effect, sending Havnus to the graveyard, so Havnus then can activate the fusion summon back into Rule Kalos. Rule Kalos, of course, having a special summon negate. We're going to grab Kashtira Theosis from the deck. Now, before we're going to go for Theosis, because it will simply get negated by the Rule Kalos, we're going to see if we can't potentially bait our opponent into hitting the wrong card. So we're going to start off by normal summoning Surzeal, Watcher of the Evil Eye. Going to grab Evil Eyes Unleashed, activating it here. We're going to send a monster and an equipped spell to the graveyard, sending our Ballistress and our Evil Eye of Gorgiano to grab our Evil Eye of Selene directly from the deck. We already have Retribution, so that's all good. We're going to go for Selene here, equipping it onto our Evil Eye. We're going to use the Gorgiano, dropping our Spur Surzeal, then chaining Ballistress. By using it in a chain, it looks like we're sort of making something into a big deal. That does successfully bait out his Tliament's Rule Kalos. So we do play around the Rule Kalos effectively, having him negate the Ballistress over the Unicorn. So now we're going to go for the Evil Eye Domain. This is essentially just, it was the next best search target. We already had Retribution, so we didn't need to worry about anything additional. So we're going to go for Unicorn here, banishing card from the extra deck just because we can. Theosis then activating this, summon it to Fenrir from the deck. Fenrir then activates, searching for our Raise Heart. Raise Heart then bringing itself out, and that's just Kashtira, right? Full Kashtira combo, summon out the Raise Heart, go into the Shangri-La, use Raise Heart's effect, turn it into a Raise Heart, and you got Shangri-La, a Raise Heart, Surzeal, Ballistrous for the next turn and follow-up. Just really, really incredible. Our opponent unfortunately didn't stick around to have us summon all of those cards, but we had the perfect setup in mind, full Kashtira setup and full Evil Eye. It's hard to get better than that. Let's get into game 2. Alright, getting into game 2 here, going first this time, opening up a pretty solid hand. We're going to go for Surzeal here. Surzeal getting hit with Infinite Permanence. That's beautiful because we already have the Evil Eyes Unleashed in our hand. That's the card that we would have ended up searching for, so that's all good. We're going to activate the Evil Eyes Unleashed, going to mill 2, search for Selene here. Now we're going to activate Gorgiano in grave. We're going to drop our remaining Unleashed. We're going to use Ballistrous as well in grave, activating it in chain so we can summon it out to the field. Ballistrous basically lets us link summon during our opponent's turn. We're going to grab Evil Eye Retribution, activating Selene. We hold off on activating the Gorgiano because it doesn't really do anything for us right now at this stage. And I would rather have it for follow-up later on, just in case something bad happens. But there you go. This is basically the ideal Evil Eye board, right? With no Kashtira influence, nothing like that. We got the pop off the Surzeal, we have the quick play link summon, we have the negate, we'll have the additional pop off of the big Surzeal thanks to the effect of Ballistrous. We've got Max C as well. So we're in a pretty decent spot here. They're going to go main phase 1 here, normal summoning Planet Pathfinder. That's when we're going to use our Max C. They're going to activate the Pathfinder, using it to search their deck for the pressured planet. Activating Triple Tactics Frust, we actually use the Evil Eye Retribution here to negate the Frust. There's no telling what he's going to search his deck for, so I'd rather just stop that outright. He can search his deck for anything, and no matter what, it would be a problem. So we're going to go for Desires now. Banish 10, draw 2, activating the Harpy's Feather Duster. We're going to quickly chain to that our Ballistrous, and the reason we're chaining to that is because the Ballistrous can actually utilize your face-up equip spells as link material. So what we're able to do is we're going to use Surzeal, the Eye of Selene, and Ballistrous to go into Surzeal, Ruler of the Evil Eyed. Now because we have Unleashed in the graveyard here, Unleashed is going to activate to equip onto our Surzeal, our Eye of Selene from the graveyard. And they're simply going to end their turn. They don't have the resources or the ability to play through the Max C, and in their mind they think that we can't go for lethal, so they're safe in holding off and not doing anything just yet. And to an extent they're absolutely correct. We top deck in the Raise Heart, which isn't exactly a fantastic top deck here. We're going to swing for 26 and simply pass because we don't have very much else we can do right at this second. Good play from our opponent, passing turn there. They're going to go for the Pressure Planet here. We're going to use our Surzeal to quickly pop the Pressure Planet. Just again, on the off chance, we hope that he's not going to be playing the Unicorn directly for hand. Selene then going to boost up. Luckily, he did not have the Kashtira monster necessary in hand, so he sets one to pass. Surzeal comes in, is going to clean up, pop his cards, draw one for turn. And there you go. So that's just to show off what the Evil Eye cards by themselves do. Just to show you that even just normal summon Surzeal with no Kashtira support, no nothing, is still going to be a decent play. It's not the most impressive thing in the world, absolutely. And you know, a display like that is not exactly a top tier game winning display, but it was able to beat Kashtira easily enough. And it is definitely a very reliable fallback option in order to supplement your already very powerful Kashtira plays. So ideally, all of that, and you tag out one of those cards for Unicorn, you are laughing. Your board is insane. But anyways, let's get into game 3. Alrighty, this one is a little bit shorter than the last two. We're going to go second here up against Labyrinth. Summoning Servant out, searching for the Coup Clock. Coup Clock then going to activate to allow them to activate a set card during this turn, chaining to that the Torby, discarding himself and another card to set Big Welcome Labyrinth straight to the field. That's going to trigger off the Coup Clock to summon itself to the field actually. Big Welcome bringing out lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. Going to return the Coup Clock back to hand, triggering off the lovely Labyrinth to pop a card in our hand, and Torby to special summon itself back to the field. So they set themselves up pretty decently here, able to bring out the lovely Labyrinth, popping Gorgiano in our hand, which is the best possible card he could have popped for us, so that worked out regardless. They're going to set 2, and they're going to pass turn back to us. So the lovely Labyrinth does make life a little bit difficult here. We're going to go Pot of Prosperity, banishing 6. They're going to go for the Coup Clock. Coup Clock, a little bit of a problem, so we're going to go for Cult by the Grave. We're going to negate and banish the Coup Clock. We're going to go for the Torby, discarding itself and another card, setting another card from the deck, but they're not able to activate this set card during this turn because their Coup Clock is not going to resolve. Definitely one of the better Cult by targets up against Labyrinth because they rarely play more than one of it. So that should be a-okay. We're going to check the top 6 cards of our deck to see if we can hit something useful there. There's Unicorn, there's Unleashed, there's the Pressure Planet. We're going to go for the Unicorn. Special out the Unicorn, they're going to activate Big Welcome Labyrinth, summoning out the Lady, bouncing Lady back to hand. That's going to trigger both lovely Labyrinth as well as Ariana, the Labyrinth Servant, and Torby from the graveyard. Torby going to summon itself back to the field yet again. So this is quite a rough situation. You're probably looking at this and thinking to yourself, how the hell do we manage to get our way out of this one? They're going to pop our Unicorn before we can even use its effect. Lady bringing itself out to the field yet again. Gorgiano in the graveyard, banishing itself, going to drop Ballistrus, searching for the Evil Eye Domain. Domain then activating, going to grab Surzeal directly from the deck, who will now normal summon. Normal summon Surzeal, going to grab Evil Eyes Unleashed, which will activate, sending cards to the graveyard. We're going to activate the Ballistrus as Chain Link 2, summoning it out to the field as well. Then we're going to use the Evil Eyes Unleashed. We're going to grab Selene from deck. Now we're going to activate Selene, targeting, of course, our Surzeal. Using Surzeal, we're going to pop the lovely Labyrinth, because that card is an absolute menace, boosting our attack points up because we used the effect here and we took some damage. So we're at 2100, big enough to get over the Servant as well. So at least claiming back a little bit of the advantage that was potentially compromised during that turn. We're going to use Surzeal as well here. During the following turn after you use its pop effect, you're forced to pop one of your own cards as well. So by popping the Evil Eye Domain, we're going to trigger its effect here to target an Evil Eye monster in the grave and add it back to our hand. So we're going to grab back our other Ballistrus just because we can, I guess. It's not really all that big of a deal. Evil Eye Selene, of course, boosting up our attack points even more, sending the Torby and the Torby to set the Labyrinth to the field here. Now, the thing about the Eye of Selene is I'm pretty sure it makes your Surzeal pretty damn tough to deal with because it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects and cannot be targeted by card effects. So he is pretty difficult to deal with here for our Labyrinth player. They're going to go for Welcome Labyrinth, following that up with the Lady Labyrinth's effect here to set directly from the deck the Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Welcome Labyrinth, summoning out another copy of the Lady here. They did attempt to pop our card, but unfortunately for them it did not work out. Now they're going to get rid of our Ballistrus here, or at least attempt to. We're going to chain to that the Surzeal's effect. Surzeal then going to pop the Ariana, and then Ballistrus as well is going to quick play Link Summon into Surzeal. Surzeal then coming out, Surzeal popping the Ariana. Big Welcome then fizzles without basically any resolution. We're going to play Selene onto our Surzeal. He goes Battle Phase, trying to swing into our monster. We're going to activate Ruler of the Evil-Eyed. Of course, this guy is not limited to monsters. He can target anything on the field and destroy it. So we're going to destroy the back row there. That's going to boost our attack points up to 3100 because we took damage due to the Evil Eye Selene. And that's pretty much enough for our opponent to get on up out of here. They had nothing left. So pretty good match against Labyrinth, playing through plenty of interruption there. They completely shut down and stopped their Kashtira plays before we could even get the ball rolling like we did in game number 1. But the Evil Eye cards were more than enough of a fallback option to win us that game. Very good performance overall. Let's get into the deck profile. I'm sure if you watched the gameplay, you were surprised by how the deck performed in and against some pretty powerful opponents there. Now, I honestly picked this just up out of a bit of curiosity, just to see if it would work or what the situation was there, and I was honestly really pleasantly surprised by how quickly I was able to pick the deck up and by how effectively it was able to deal with many of the threats we put in front of it. Now, it's not a deck that has, it's not two decks, right? So the Evil Eye and the Kashtira, the two decks don't inherently have any synergy. They have what I call circumstantial synergy, where purely they operate so independent of one another and so in a vacuum of one another that they in no way intersect, cross, or prevent each other from operating in any known capacity. So they don't really necessarily go together, but they certainly don't stop one another, and that on this occasion is enough to actually make the deck work, right? Sometimes that type of synergy just isn't enough. But the two decks literally couldn't be more different, and that works to their benefit here, so they're able to work together quite well. It's a bit of a weird one. So we're going to talk about the deck here. We're going to break it down and talk about the cards we're choosing, what they do, why we're playing them. We're going to start, of course, by removing the hand traps, just so we all have a very clear idea of what it is we're actually looking at. So we do have the triple Maxi, of course, the triple Ash Blossom, of course. We have the double call by single crossout, basically mandatory in every single deck, those 9 cards. We're also playing triple Tactics Frust, as well as some additional targets. We're playing double Frust, 1 copy of triple Tactics Talent as a Frust target, and we're playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, not only because it's a really solid hand trap, but also because it's a pretty good Frust target. Right, so that is all of those. And that pretty much brings us back down to bare bones. So there's 12 flex spots if you want to play the deck at 40. We were playing it at 43 and not having any difficulties, so you can go slightly above that. But even just as it is, having 12 flex spots if you want to keep it at 40 cards is still pretty damn good. So I'm not going to complain in the slightest. We're going to break the deck up into 2 different halves. Of course, we've got Evil Eye and we've got Kashtira. So let's talk about the Evil Eye cards first. We're going to start with Basilius. Basilius is not a card you're going to use very often, but basically if you control an Evil Eye monster, you can special summon this guy for free from hand, and once per turn, during your main phase, you can send Evil Eye spell or trap from the deck to the graveyard. That kinda sorta makes this guy a 1-card combo, depending upon if you have like access to the Ballistrus or whatever. Because what it can do is it can send Gorgiano to the graveyard, and as long as you can activate this card's effect, you can then search your deck for the likes of Evil Eyes Unleashed, which will then send and get searching and do everything. So this guy's a kind of a 1-card combo. He sets up most of the Evil Eye plays, however he doesn't do the full setup, which is why we're only playing him at 1, and realistically he's a very good search target for something like the field spell if you've already got your Surzeal set up. But other than that, he's not exactly a groundbreaking card. The Ballistrus, however, is significantly more powerful. If you control an Evil Eye monster and this card is either in your hand or in your graveyard, you get special summon it, and that is a quick effect. During your opponent's turn, you can link summon using Evil Eye monsters you control and Evil Eye equip spells you control as materials, meaning it can very easily go into your Zerziel, Ruler of the Evil Eye, with very little difficulty. We've got Surzeal himself, Watch of the Evil Eye. On normal summon, you will add an Evil Eye card from your deck to your hand, and if this card is equipped with the Evil Eye, Selene gains an additional effect, where once per turn is a quick effect. You can target a special summon monster your opponent controls and destroy it, and then during your next standby phase, you must destroy 1 card you control. So very powerful card, normal summon, able to set up your entire Evil Eye play through access to your Evil Eyes Unleashed, which we're going to talk about in a second. But Surzeal is definitely the central cog around which this strategy works. So 3 of, absolutely mandatory. You could play the likes of Medusa as well if you want, which is similar-ish. But I don't believe it's worth sacrificing the room with the potential draw into a Kashtira. I just don't see enough reason to play Medusa, but I could be wrong there. But Surzeal has definitely served more than enough of a purpose in dealing with the Evil Eye side of the deck. Next up, we got Evil Eyes Unleashed. So this card will allow you to send an Evil Eye monster and an Evil Eye spell or trap from deck to grave to grab an Evil Eye equipped spell from deck to hand. Now the ones you're typically going to grab, you're going to send Gorgiano as well as the Ballistrus to the graveyard to grab Selene from your deck. And there's a reason you're doing that. Gorgiano as well as Ballistrus both have effects that activate in the graveyard. Ballistrus, of course, as we already covered, can special summon itself out to the field. We're going to skip ahead and talk about the Evil Eye Gorgiano here, because this card can banish itself from the graveyard, as well as discarding an Evil Eye card to add an Evil Eye spell or trap from your deck to your hand. That's normally how you're going to get access to your counter trap, because what you will essentially do is, through Unleashed, sending this and this, you're going to search for your Evil Eye of Selene. Evil Eye of Selene will make an equipped Evil Eye monster indestructible to battle card effects, as well as being untargetable. And each time you activate the effect of the equipped monster or the effect of another Evil Eye spell or trap card, you lose 500 life points and your monster gains 500 attack points. So it gets pretty damn sizable very, very fast. This card can also pay 1,000 life points and banish an evil, while it's in your graveyard, sorry, I should say, can pay 1,000 life points and banish another evil eye spell or trap from grave to set itself back to the field, so it does recycle itself in a pinch, although we don't use that effect a ton if I'm being honest. Because Unleashed has another effect that we almost didn't mention. If you were to link summon an evil eye link monster, like for example during on your opponent's turn, you can banish this card from the graveyard to equip an evil eye equip spell onto the evil eye link monster that you just summoned. So that means that your Zerziel not only is going to be summoned during your opponent's turn, it is going to have access to the evil eye of Selene. Gorgiano does have an on-field effect as well, where its name becomes the Eye of Selene, which is good. While your life points are lower than your opponent's, the equipped monster gains attack equal to the difference, which is neat, but not really all that big. It's primarily here for the second search effect that we just talked about. We've got Evil Eye Domain on whatever this is. This has a whole bunch of text on it, but the main important thing is that whenever it's activated, you can add an Evil Eye monster from deck to hand, i.e. your Zerziel, which sets off your entire play. So that's basically just e-call. It's not really anything else. If it's destroyed and sent to the grave, you can target an Evil Eye monster in grave and add it back to hand. If your Evil Eye is attacked while Eye of Selene is on your field, you can deal battle damage to both players. So it's got a couple of effects on there, but the main one is definitely just on activation, search for an Evil Eye and add it to hand. Just that simple. And lastly, we have the counter trap Evil Eye Retribution. This is another big part of why the deck is so powerful, because it's able to search this consistently as part of its main combo. Whenever a spell or trap is activated while you control an Evil Eye monster, negate the activation and destroy it. Very straightforward, counter trap, spell speed 3, so difficult for your opponents to respond to, and if you control the Eye of Selene, its effect and activation cannot be negated at all, even by other counter traps. So basically it's just a spell or trap negate for free, which is good, absolutely. That is the main deck. Evil Eye cards are really not that complicated, and the main deck Kashtira cards, I'm not going to bore everyone by explaining them all in detail. You can see at the end of the video in the wee cards, there will be a link to our Kashtira video which talks about them in much more detail, because the combo is identical. We're playing the 1 Rise Heart because we don't want to brick on it. We got the 2 Fenrir, triple Unicorn, triple Theosis, and our pressured planet Rafislov. So this, of course, is just basically a searcher for your Unicorn. Unicorn's the main dog. This is the big man himself. This starts off all of your Kashtira plays. So you basically have a 1-card starter for Kashtira and a 1-card starter for Evil Eye, and you want to intersect the two as much as you possibly can. That goes for the main deck. And the extra deck, I'll be perfectly honest, 90% of this stuff I have not yet used. The main deck stuff is so damn strong that we seldom have to dip too heavily into our extra deck, barring a couple of main staples. So we have Triple D Stone King Darius, as well as our Triple D Divisor King Deus Machinix. This is purely here to make use of the fact if you have like additional multiple level 3s on board. It's better in the pure Evil Eye version because you play a significant amount more level 3s. But I thought I would include it nonetheless because it is possibly useful in some situations. We have number 75, Bamboozle and Gossip. Again, same thing. Never ever summoned it. I honestly think it would be a very lackluster summon if we were in a position with multiple level 3s, so I don't even think I would use this even if it did present itself. But again, the option is there. Your extra deck is not tight. Take advantage of the space you've got and play what you think might be useful. But you can do whatever you want with this slot. It's not super key. Big Eye to steal opponent's monsters with your level 7s. Shangri-La, of course everyone knows what Shangri-La does. During the standby phase, you summon a Kashtira friend deck. If your opponent has a card banished face down, you get to lock up one of their zones, and it can protect itself from destruction by detaching a material. Very straightforward card. With the Expertly Happiness. Expertly Happiness will detach a material during the battle phase to negate the effects of all of your opponent's currently face-up monsters. This is here almost entirely to deal with Makongo. It is still a real deck out there, and if I can sacrifice one extra deck slot to deal with it, then I absolutely will. We've Kashtira, a Rise Heart, again a card we've talked about in a significant amount of detail. As long as it's face up, all cards that would be sent to the graveyard are banished instead. Once per turn, you can detach 3 materials to target a card in the field and banish it face down. And once per chain, if a card would be banished, you can attach any banished card to to this card as Exceed material. Very straightforward. We have Zeus because we can. Gorgon is okay. I'm going to talk about Gorgon and Surzeal together because they're kind of a pair. This is a Link 2 and this is a Link 3. But basically, this guy gains 100 attack for each Evil Eye card with different names in the graveyard. It's not going to be any bigger than 2200 most of the time. If it's equipped with the Evil Eye of Selene, once per turn you get to target an opponent's effect monster and negate its effects until the end of the turn. So it gains like a once per turn negate while equipped with Evil Eye of Selene. And then Surzeal is the opposite. Instead of being a negate, you can activate, target a card in the field, and destroy it. Now, if this card was summoned using a Link monster that had 2600 or higher attack points, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. So that is also pretty damn powerful. And then lastly, we literally just have IP Masquerena as well as the Nightmare Unicorn. These cards are purely filler. I have not used them and I probably won't use them because they're very underwhelming relative to the number of other options that we have to summon. So that's the entire extra deck. There really isn't very much for me to talk about here because we've dipped into it like a handful of times maybe. We only ever really use Surzeal. We only ever really use Shangri-La or Rise Heart. We've yet to summon Pearly. We don't use Zeus. We don't use the Triple Ds. We don't use Big Eye. We don't use this. We don't even use Gorgon, right? Our usage of the extra deck is really rather limited and straightforward, and that does present an opportunity towards a very highly customizable. So I'm gonna take out the non-core cards. This is literally it. So if you play these 6 cards, you can play whatever else you want in the extra deck, and the deck will function exactly as you've been shown, because that is ultimately all it's going to take. So this has been Evil Eye Kashtira. If you're interested in these sort of off-meta topics and things like this, and you want to see them again in the future, absolutely subscribe to catch things as they're coming out. And like the video if you got this far and actually enjoyed what you were seeing. I mean, you got this far into the video, right? You must have liked something. So the button's free, you might as well hit it. And you can check out the videos on screen now for more deck profiles. And I'm going to leave you there. You take care now.